Should I shut my iPad off?
Yeah, good. Man, fresh haircut, huh? What's going on tonight? Fresh haircut. Yeah. It is.
Ready? Oh, we're live. Good day, everyone.
Turn this on.
We're live now. Today's our live event, and we are fixing to get started on Power of the Subconscious Mind. Inviting anyone that may have not signed up yet, get signed up and hit the link. It should be somewhere on one of the pages. You might be on Facebook or YouTube. I'm not too sure where we're going live on, but get signed up. We're going to get started in our class, and once again, we are doing this every month, every last Thursday of the month. Just check our website, and we're going to be teaching everybody about the subconscious mind. And subconscious mind is everything that a man is, and it could be so much more, because subconscious mind is not only connected to man, but it's also connected to a higher consciousness of man. And when we really begin to understand that genius is not something that one man has and another one does not, it's something that's developed, and it's developed from within. Genius is really just the expression of someone that has gone beyond how the average man thinks and brought down ideas to further surpass the average man's way of thinking. And you can do that. We've done it. We continually do it. We help people bring out the genius in them and really live the life by design. It's a really beautiful thing. Get involved. We're getting started, and we're welcoming you guys to take part in this class. We'll be seeing you shortly. Are you?
Wonderful. How are you, sir?
Wonderful. How's it going, guys? How's everyone doing? We're getting started here. Power of Subconscious Mind. I want to thank everybody for coming and really investing in you. You're here because you believe in you. And that's a really great thing. For all of our subscribers, Zach, how long are you going live? We're going to be giving live footage to you guys, a little bit of live footage, and we'll start off our intro into the mind, and really what we're here for. You want to get started?
Yeah, sure. We'll go with introduction. As most of you guys know, Abraham is founder of I Am Mastermind. Abraham, you want to go talk a little bit about yourself and how you found I Am? And
just a little bit background on the Institute of the Mind. We are an institute where we teach people how to build the life by design. This started off many years ago on a definite purpose of creating life the way I wanted to. And in that process of working on me, in developing myself, I was changing. All the research, all the study, all the books, all the reading, all the getting up early in the morning, all the work that I was doing, it was actually changing me. And it got to the point where, it's a long story, but long story short, I ended up starting my first company. Didn't know how to build a company. Built the company and continued to build more companies and establish business. And in working with people, my goal was to have multiple companies, not just one. And with working with people, I started to notice that they were stuck. And I really wanted to help them out. And because I wanted to help them out, I needed to understand the mind and how it works. I needed to be able to package everything that I had been doing for years and be able to package it in a way that it's teachable and trainable to others. Mm-hmm. And in doing that, I ended up, I always say there's a higher power. As the universe for guidance. I needed to understand how I could deliver what we're doing in a shorter period of time, and it'd be more beneficial and quicker. It took me lots of years of studying and researching a bunch of books. So I was looking for something that would be able to break this down, and I'd be able to train our people with it. And I ended up getting a phone call from some businessmen, and they introduced me to Bob Proctor. And the minute I heard him speaking, I knew he knew what he was talking about, because he was studying a lot of the same books that I was. He had many years. He was the oldest in the personal development field. And immediately I flew down, went to see his material, and I knew I wanted to learn from him. So immediately I became a consultant. And knew that I would use this material, and we would bring it back so that we could help our people within our companies and help them develop. And really, I wanted everyone to win. I've got the attitude that, and I honestly believe that anybody can win, but it's up to them. This is personal. Personal development is it's a personal thing, and you've got to want it, and you've got to want to work on yourself. And the people that do are the people that win. No accident. That's why success is really not common, because it takes work. Mm-hmm. It takes working on you. And we started the Institute of the Mind. I met Taha years prior, after first starting my first company, second location. I'd met Taha, and he was in commercial construction, and I was in oil and gas. And a part of my vision was that we would be in commercial. I had a vision of multiple companies, running several companies in the sector, and being able to help people through these businesses. And when I met Taha, I knew that I had met a man that had a burning desire for growth and prosperity. I knew that I had met a man that was, the pride in him, the desire in him was bigger than circumstances. And I knew I had a feeling, again, I go off of intuition, I had a feeling that we'd be lifelong partners and helping people. And the vision was a global work. And I'll never forget the night that we made the decision to go into business together. We shook hands, and I felt the shift. I knew there was a change. I knew it was the right one. I called him and I told him that. I said, you don't know, but the world just changed. Mm-hmm. I said, there's a lot of things. Yeah. At the time, he was probably like, what's this guy talking about? But I was working with a vision. And I knew that we would be working together.
Yeah, I remember that night. After I had a conversation with you, when you look at your phone, like, what is this guy talking about? That was the moment.
Yep.
Thank you, Abraham. As most of you guys know, my name is Taha Habib. I'm a consultant under Proctor Gallagher, Bob Proctor. I started learning about Bob Proctor through Abraham. When I was wanting to, my goal was, for 20 years, was to come to the United States and live American dream. And when I arrived, it took me a little while, and I had a hard time to achieve what I want to achieve. But I knew I had to have multiple businesses. So I met him, and he had the same vision, and he was sharing the same vision. And but he told me something very interesting that I didn't like at the time. And he was telling me that the reason I'm not getting the result that I want is because of the way I'm thinking. And I didn't understand it really at the time. But after a while, when I saw him, he went and studied with Bob Proctor. And when I saw him changing and growing and start thinking in a certain way, I was inspired and wanted to study with him. And I came to I stepped into path of personal development. I learned real quick a secret that absolutely shook me. And that secret was every one of us are equal, created equal, and we have ability to create our environment the way we want. And when I learned that, I decided to become a consultant and become part of I Am Mastermind to pass down the knowledge and let everyone know that you can create the life that you want. You're not just here to have a job, pay bills, and just tiptoe through life and retire and be done with it. There's so much more into it, and the way this study, the way this information changed me, that I made a decision that I want to pass down the information for people that are ready and receptive to take this information. And Abraham helped me to get into this, and I became a consultant, and we started teaching this. And I'm very happy that I met Abraham. I'm always grateful that I met him. He helped me to get into this and change my life. So our job is really giving back to people, to society, to our community, to everyone that is willing to change and is willing to truly understand who they are. I think that's it for now.
It's about prosperity, prosperity consciousness, and we're building these companies, and I knew that the companies would be a tool. It would be an asset for society. For me, companies were not just a business or a way to generate income, to make money, to earn money. I knew that business was actually the development of people. With working with so many people, I said, my God, I saw that they wanted to change, but they weren't able to do it. And I knew in this vision that I'd had, that I've been working with this vision for several years, was that we would use these tools, companies, to help people that advance. And I grew up in poverty. I grew up in areas where there's a different layer of poverty, right? So I've been to other countries. There's more poverty. Yeah. So the poverty here is not real poverty. It is, but there's different levels of it. But regardless, we didn't have abundance, and I wanted to be abundant, and I wanted to share abundance, and I wanted to help people become abundant. And really, what it is we are ingrained with thoughts from our environment, and that a lot of times distinguishes the outcome, whether we're aware of it or not. And by learning this information and being able to pass it down and taught how to look at this information, it's a privilege to find men that want to share the same desire, and that's to help humanity, and that's to help consciousness. There's a better way. There's always a better way, and I believe that if all the businessmen in the world were to work together on purpose to use businesses as tools for the development of people and give people the opportunity to grow if they really desire, and have a place for them to study and grow and work on themselves, we can help this law of prosperity grow substantially. And if you really think about this, if everyone would really adapt to the idea and willing to have an institute that would help advance their people within the companies would flourish and they would grow, and everybody would win. And this is how we can advance society, and we can also help the children that are coming. Every second, I don't know what it is now, every couple of seconds, a child's born. But not only is a child born, a consciousness is born, a spiritual essence is born in the child. And whether we understand it or not, we are programming these children. We were programmed. We're going to go through all that as we go through this, and we're going to teach you about what the subconscious is. And we're going to show you that the mind is really a highly advanced, essential part of what humanity is, the mind. When we say the mind, a lot of times we don't really take in consideration what the mind means, really. We'll play with phones all day and we don't question anything. That phone's not connected to anything, yet it can tap into nothing and it can download information. And when we look at our consciousness as we are, as men are, women, and we never question, how did I get that idea? You're not plugged in anywhere either, right? But how are you intercepting ideas? How are you downloading information? The other day I was reading the word genius and what genius really means. Genius is you say somebody's a genius because they were able to go beyond the average way of thinking. Is that amazing? A genius is somebody that can reason outside of his logic. They can reason outside of the logic of the individuals at that time in that era. He doesn't think the same. So genius was somebody that's tapping into a higher intelligence and bringing back that idea down. Interesting. So how much genius is within us, and we really don't use it. If the genius is all within us, then there was never anything without. What image do you get when I say the mind? Anyone? Mind? Good. We normally think of the brain. Anyone else? Mind? Is the AC on? Computer program. When we start to understand what the mind is, or try to understand what the mind is, we don't have an image. And normally we're going to go back to the brain because we think in images. And we all think in images. Every time I say we want to reflect or reason with something, we identify with an image. But where did the image come from? From the past. So if I say cat, dog, refrigerator, TV, give me the color of the first refrigerator that you can remember as a child. White. There you go. So right now, you're able to follow me because you understand the words that I'm using, because you identify with an image from the past, right? So right now, because you consented, you're willing, you're listening to me, and you're willing to retrieve the file. Interesting. Just like that, right? Did you see yourself go into the file and pull it out? No, it's just automatic. You heard it, and you're emotionally involved, so you can pick up the file faster. How many times have you heard something and you don't pick up no file? Think about that. How many times do we hear, but we don't listen? Do you notice that when somebody's emotionally involved, things happen quicker? So when they're emotionally involved, the subconscious mind is much quicker to move, to accelerate. So we have higher abilities than we understand. You pick the file much quicker because you're emotionally involved. You're here on purpose. As we understand the mind and the power of the subconscious, we look at this brain and the mind. Well, the brain is an electronic switching station. It's not the mind. The mind is the movement that works through the brain. So when we say the mind, we're still we're trying to reference an image because we think in images, and nobody ever gave us an image of the mind, right? But the mind is this movement. Scientists have tried to measure this movement, this energy, and they know that when a body flatlines, it's done. They can measure that essence that leaves the body. Gone. And once it's gone, it's hard to get it back sometimes. Sometimes they can shock it, and sometimes it'll come back. But they know when it's gone, that body is dying, and it has so many minutes before essence can go back into it, and they know this. When you really think about that, that's kind of spooky, isn't it? They know that if they can't, they can get that body, they can pump that body and keep the body alive mechanically. But if the essence cannot be found, or the essence cannot find or will not enter the body again, it doesn't work anymore. It immediately begins to deteriorate. They measured it. They've even now found the essence went back in later on. They thought the body was done. Interesting. So when we talk about this mind, the essence of what a man is, the minute it's gone, you can sit there and watch the body, and if you were to stand there long enough, you would watch it disappear into nothing. As a matter of fact, if you were to look at everything that's here, It's been man-made, that came from nothing, came from his imagination, was born from nothing. And it was produced into this world from his imagination, everything. If we were to take all the creativity right now that man has made all through these generations, we would have nothing. We would have nature. And we would still live with nature. Now, if you take anything that's man-made, it'll disappear. If you take a flower and you pluck the flower from its centering point of energy, it immediately begins to die again. And you'll watch it disappear. You sit there long enough, right? So when we're talking about the mind, we're talking about this movement that's unseen, but as long as it's in a body, it's working. They also say the neuroplasticity. As you begin to pick up new information, you will begin to pick up new cognition. You will rewire new neural pathways in the brain, new circuitry with new ideas. But again, where do you get new ideas from? The only way we can right now, and that's through what? Physical connection, internet now, right? But as you are willing to adapt or take on that information, you can change things. We don't have a stick person on here. We missed the stick person. Zach, is there any way to throw that up? Dr. Thurman Fleet gave us an image of the stick person, and we'll see if we can get it up there. Is that possible? Yes, no, maybe so. You can plug in my iPad. We'll go a little bit further. 95% of our mind is subconscious. So we got our beliefs, habits, values, memory. This is all in the subconscious. If I were to say, let's reason with $1 million. Can anybody do that? Has anybody generated $1 million in a month? Could you tell me how to do that right now? Why? Because it's not in our subconscious. And whatever's not in the subconscious, it's hard to reason, to relate with. That's why it's harder for us to pick up things or to do things. Earlier, I was talking about the environment I was raised in. According to the environment, it's setting up a chain of events. And this is why it's harder for people to do things that they were not programmed around. They didn't have the environment to reason with that information. Now, let's say that a child was born around a billionaire family. They built several companies. The child was raised around this. He saw his father do business. Mother does business. They have multiple companies. They deal in business all the time. The child is born in that family. His subconscious is 95% filled with what? There you go. So how much easier is it going to be for him to produce those results? He'll be more adaptive to it. If he walked around and his parents were talking about their sales, they're doing $20 million deals and $30 million deals and $40 million deals, the child's automatic is going to think of what? $20 million deals, $30 million deals. The parents probably already have an understanding of money, to earn money, and then they're going to teach the children how to earn money differently, right? Now, let's take a look at the odds of where we've been born. 97, 98% are born into families that really don't know how to earn money. Not the way the 3% to 5% do. So the 3 to 5% are thinking differently, and they say through the 3% earn 95, 97% of the other people's money. You think that's an accident? If 95% of our subconscious was programmed, and it is programming, then the chances of us being born in that 3% are very slim. So whether we understand this or not, our beliefs and everything that starts off is right there. The next thing we develop from our beliefs is perception. What can the child do other than do what his environment is doing? He can't, right? Mm-hmm. If a child is born around the family, he does what every child, and the only thing that every child can do. He's got to begin to think, act, walk, talk like his environment. So his beliefs are being created, and the beliefs are in the subconscious. As his beliefs begin to evolve, he begins to desire to want to be more. He wants to jump, he wants to run, he wants to do as all the other kids do. So what does the child do? He keeps adapting and learning, but he's learning from the wrong group. And what does every kid want to do? We want to fit in. So what do? We learn, and we want to do what they do. We want to walk like they do. We want to wear what they wear. We want to do as they do. Why? Because that's the only thing that we can do. When we start looking at an environment, we're trying to adapt as they think and as they walk, as they talk. So what are we getting? More of their ideas, but we're imagining with those beliefs. So what we're doing here is we're programming a child. We're programming the subconscious mind. And this is where we start from. So right now, if you have children, do they not want to hold a cup like you? Mine did. Do they not want to sit as you sit, or pick up the how? You ever see a little child when they want to hold that spoon and they don't know how to hold it yet, and they want to hold that spoon, they don't want to hold it, they don't know how to hold it yet? Well, they're learning and they're watching you, so they're getting all their memory coding from you. So when we look at the mind is the essence that's picking up and watching through your eyes, but it's transmuting it through your brain, and it tells the body what to do. This essence is thinking stuff into form. It really does. As we begin to look at the subconscious mind, Emma, can you go get the iPad, please? What we're understanding is that we retrieve files, and we're going to do a little quick workshop. I'd like to let's stand up. Everybody stand up. Let's do a little exercise. Who are you? That's your name, but who are you? Winner. Good. How does winner win? Okay. Let's go back to who are you?
Winner.
Okay. But who are you?
Fruit, the winner.
Okay. So let's keep digging. That's telling me you're winning, but I want to know who you are.
I am the 1%.
Okay. When I keep talking about who are you, what makes you who you are, let's say 5 years ago?
5 years ago, I was trying to make ends meet,
Mm-hmm.
but I realized I can have more in life. That's what brought me here today.
Good. When I keep digging and I keep asking, how often do we ask somebody, instead of asking who are they, we'll ask them what do they do? Think about
Yeah,
that.
you're right about that.
I got you. You didn't know which way to go. Why? Because we're not used to being asked, who are you? We're used to asking, what do you do? So that we can do what? Try to relate, try to understand. Right? So the other person is normally trying to relate to try to understand who the other person is. If I were to ask you, who are you? Spirit. If I were to ask you that 5 years ago,
Oh no, I remember, I laugh at this question because that's the question that really spun things for me about a year ago with I Am Mastermind. And so now I chuckle because I'm like, I'm spirit. I can create.
so before you met us, who was creating?
Spirit's always been creating. I just wasn't aware of it.
Yep. So who were you identifying yourself with?
With my outside circumstances. What do I do? What have I done? Motherhood, any experience that I've ran into.
What you identified yourself with from the past. And normally we're going to relate back to what? Past experience.
Past experiences.
Yep. How often would you say you were your education?
Probably a good portion of my adulthood.
Yep.
Yeah.
So when they would ask you, what do you do, or who are you, they're trying to reason you. And the way you would normally introduce yourself is through your education, right?
You'd recite your resume, basically. Yeah.
Why would we do that? Who are you? There's no wrong or right.
It's a hard question to answer, but I would say I'm a creator. I'm an artist. But again, had you asked me that even 6 months ago, I'd just look at you
Yeah.
like I don't know.
It's hard.
It is.
If you ask somebody and you go ask them, who are you? You're putting them, what I'm doing is I'm causing you to face yourself. And you're having to reason and relate to how you identify yourself with yourself. It's powerful.
It is a lot of self-awareness.
Yeah. Because when we're not really aware of who's thinking, that subconscious is automatic. Anyone else? Who are you?
I'm a negotiator, a mediator, a money magnet.
Hold on.
I'm a negotiator.
I think it's off. Try again. You're going to have to do it all over again till we can hear you. I thought I turned it on for you. I think that's it right there.
Okay, can you hear me now? No.
Yes.
I am a powerful, strong, feminine woman, negotiator, mediator, money magnet, and I think that sums it up. Yeah.
Good. Who are you?
Well, I love to learn, so I'm a learner, but I also like to give back and share my experiences and create a growing experience for others.
Good. You want to take the baton?
It's a hard question because we're always kind of changing. So this is a little maybe cliche. I would just say I am the embodiment of the energy that I produce. So
Can you say that again?
the embodiment of the energy that I produce.
Nice.
It could be different today than it is tomorrow. So
Correct. Good. Thank you. You guys, who are you?
Say I'm a leader, a father, a son, a brother, a creator, a believer.
Good. Is that mine? Okay. I can just unplug it and plug it in, right? No. Okay, go ahead. Yeah, I just wanted to, I need a snapshot of the mind.
I'm a creator. I think in the last 2 years, I've changed quite a bit who I think I am. I'm more open to learning new experiences and growing. Entrepreneur. I'm very open-minded to learning, which has always been that way, but I've kind of changed a lot in my more of a spirit now.
Good. Is it drawable? Can we draw on it? Okay. He's got that one. Fine. Go ahead.
I'm Joe Hilton, and I'm on a journey, and I'm learning about how my mind works, and I'm reprogramming myself. So you asked me a few years ago who I was. I would tell you I'm Joe Hilton from Midland. I was raised there. You know, I'd tell you about my education. I would tell you about my environment that I knew.
Very good. Good.
I'm Stuart Aaron. I'm a teacher. I'm a student. I'm a lover. I'm a fighter. In the past, I've been a loser, and I think we can all relate to that at some point in time. But I'm here to learn. I'm also here to learn how to teach.
Good.
How to build individuals around me.
Good. Oh, this is going to be fun. Haven't done that in a while. Go ahead.
I would say that I am spirit. I'm a lot of other things too, but I think that's going to be one of my biggest things is going back to recognizing who I am and who I'm trying to become and reconnecting with that.
Who I am becoming.
Who I am becoming, yeah.
I want everyone to really think about this question, and if you were to introduce yourself again in 1 year from now, who would you be? I want everyone to sit down. Zach, if you would put on the music, and I want 5 minutes. If you were to introduce yourself to this crowd on this very date, mark the date, 10/27, and I want you to hold yourself accountable to this. I want you to take this date, and this is 1 year later. 1 year later, who are you? Why not? When the hell said we couldn't? How would you introduce yourself? Remember, we relate ourselves with what we do. We relate ourselves with where we're going as well. Who will you be in 1 year from now? On purpose, because you decided that's who you're going to be. You want to jump in? That's the time that you were. Must center itself in some state and view the world from that state. Determined imagination must center itself and view the world from that state. Give it a couple more minutes, Zach, please. What do I want? What do I really want? How do I want to express my consciousness?